A very, very good evening to you all, viewers, families, friends. Wow, this is Pastor Flores. I am here once again. Thank God for the privilege to be on here to serve you all. Right, tonight, this is a proper awareness conversation. We are creating this awareness. As you can see, the title here, the topic, as you can see it, win the money game with your child or with your children. It's gonna be amazing. It's a fantastic woman that we've had on here before. So please, I'm giving you a few minutes. Share this program. Let it go to, let it be spread out to many because this conversation is real. We're all affected by it, and we need to keep learning about it. So thank you all very very much. Quickly once again for the benefit of um, our viewers. For the benefit of our viewers, I just want to introduce myself again. I just want to introduce myself again. My name is Pastor Flores. I am a minister in word and song. As you can see, this is one of the things that I do. I'm a chat show host. I also do events online and also in person. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, and if you would like to come on this program for any good thing that you're doing, you're promoting a course, you have an event, come and let's talk about it. If you have a passion for something, come and let's talk about it so that lives can be touched, lives can be transformed. Right, thank you very much for joining us once again. I just want to enlarge this so that you can all see this. Our topic for today is winning the money game with your child. We have our fantastic guest, Lady Beatrice, who is not a stranger. Most of you who have watched us online, you will have seen how we were just here, I think, round about last month, when we were talking about another very important topic, and we did say she will be back very soon. So, Lady Beatrice, over to you just quickly, just in case we have someone new and we don't know how far this video is going. Kindly please introduce yourself again to our viewers. Who is Beatrice?
Thank you so much, Pastor Flores. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here once again. Thank you for your listeners. I appreciate you all for listening, whether you are listening now or you are listening later. Just make this intentions. Give us thumbs up, if any points that I will be sharing resonates with you. My name is Beatrice Yakubu. I am a mother and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business coach and recently a new author as well that we will be discussing as we go along. And by God's grace, I'm here to empower women. I empower adults, but I think that women are the people that I want to empower the most because we are the people that look after the families and look after children, look after the men alike. And so yes, that's one of my missions. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Lady Beatrice. Thank you for that introduction. Please, as we are moving into this title, I just wanted to find out, what prompted you to deal with this topic, winning the money game with your child. What has prompted you about this topic? Kindly please tell us.
Thank you for this question because, in terms of what prompted me, as you heard from my introduction, I am a mom, and I also, as a mom these days, no mother or most mothers actually go out to work, and simply because we have to work to make ends meet because unfortunately our husbands alone cannot their income will not be able to be sufficient. And because we go out to work, guess what then happens? We are still managing the children, we are still looking after the home, and we are adding the work on top of it all. That is a lot of stress on us. And yes, women are super people. Naturally, we are nurturing, and naturally, we have the ability to be able to do all these things. But it puts a lot of strain on us, and for that reason, when it comes to even the question of money, because we don't understand it as well, what then we do is that, yes, we carry on going out to make the money. We are not having the proper time that we should have with the children. And even when we make the money, we actually waste it and or use it inefficiently. And then that just perpetuates the cycle of never ending quest for money and a never ending quest for time, lack of time with our children. And, it has always been like that, a vicious cycle. And especially for those of us who are in the diaspora, is even more important because we have come to left our countries simply to come to the diaspora to into the West, for that matter, to make money. And because we are still homemakers, that isn't happening fast enough, and then we are in the cycle of feeling frustrated and in some cases leaving our children behind. And for me, I feel that is a topic that it's about time we deal with it.
Thank you very, very much. I wanted to ask, how can parents support their children towards financial responsibility? Because, you know, I'm not going to touch touch too much in, I know we've had this conversation somewhere. You're going to be touching about it more, because even us as parents, if we are honest, we have a particular mindset, which maybe might not help us to educate our children very well. You just mentioned our background and sometimes our situations, our challenges, and maybe the way we are used to doing things, and things are different now. So, in this dimension that we are living in now, how can we as parents support our children towards financial responsibility so that they don't make the same mistakes? Oh, if not for God's grace, the mistakes that some of us have made in life. I'm just being honest. How can that happen?
Right. So, in terms of how parents can help the children to understand the concept of money, if you think about it, there's a saying that when you are in the plane and then there is an issue regarding safety, we are advised to put the mask on our face first before we can help others, even if we have children. Unfortunately, that is not often the case with most of us as parents. We want to see our children win in most ways. I can say that majority of parents will want to see their children win. But that oxygen itself, we don't have it. So because we don't have it, you find that we are both struggling. So we are frantically trying for this oxygen to breathe, and our children don't even know where they are, because this is all they see parents do: struggle with money, struggle for money. Either we are talking about lack of it, or we are talking about spending excessively, and in the end it's just like a vicious cycle and a vicious a loop that we continue to go around. The point is that if we until we are able to understand the issue of money ourselves, what is money, how does it help us, why are we even looking for it, why do we go to work, why do we go to school? These are questions that we never even ask ourselves, because we just grew up and that is what we do and that's what everybody does. In my opinion, or in my case, my mom unfortunately didn't go to school, and all she knew was that people who went to school were able to have money and they were able to live a better life. So all she could always tell us is that school is your ticket to freedom. And then, so for that reason, all we did was to go to school, be able to. For me, at the age of 21, I had already completed nursing. I was making my own money. Where is the money, if you ask me? It's simply because I did not know how to manage the money. And because you don't know how to manage it, you make it. A majority of us parents will say that you don't have the money, you don't know where the money goes. You make the money, you don't know where it goes. Or we say that we are not making enough. But the simple truth is that we just don't know the principles of it. And until we kind of accept that and get that on board, we can't teach our children. And we know that whatever it is that we are able to teach our children, especially when they are at young age, it helps them as they grow up, and also it helps them when they become adults. And for me, this issue of the perpetuation of lack of money, we need to have a time that it has to stop. And the only way we can do it is for us parents to educate ourselves, and then we can then translate that to our children and help them to understand it, so that their lives should certainly be better than ours.
Wow, thank you very, very much. The way you are saying it, somebody will be saying that, oh, it's easier said than done. Because why would somebody be thinking like that? Because all we see um about scenarios or tackling scenarios, all we see most times are the obstacles. So, for example, we're talking about this now. Somebody will say, how am I going to be teaching my children? My children are older. No, they are still away. They can be educated, but there are obviously obstacles. And some of those things we have to break ourselves as parents, even before we are able to break boundaries with our children. So, what are some of the obstacles to achieving such a goal? At least something can be achieved, because I know, for example, last year I tried with my children, you know, and then at some point, I have to be prompting them. Look, you need to put something towards here every month. They say to me, "Oh, mom, we are doing it." No, I said, I want to see where I am seeing that you were doing it. I don't want your money, but I just want to make sure. And sometimes it's not easy to be consistent. I'm not going to lie, as a parent. So, just maybe there are other obstacles that I don't know and some of our viewers do not know about. What are some of the obstacles in terms of achieving such a goal like this? Over to you.
In terms of achievement, in terms of achieving the goal of getting financial freedom, there are so many ways that we can do it. I'm just going to say the obvious first, and then I'll go to the not obvious that most of us kind of we don't know. I wouldn't say we ignore, because we don't know. I didn't know myself. So I'm going to talk from my own perspective of understanding this. The obvious reason is that we are not making enough money to be able to sustain us. Our expenses are too much. For that reason, obviously, the money that we earn isn't enough, especially if you live in the West, in London, for example, is very expensive with everything. The other thing is that we have children. So for that reason, we are not able to have the time to be able to go out to work consistently or as much as we would have liked to do. And bearing in mind, over 90% of us actually trade our time for money, obviously, is the time factor. We haven't kind of trained ourselves in a way that we can make money while we sleep. And believe it or not, that is the reality of some people. But for majority of us, we haven't gotten to that area of understanding it and being able to utilize it. Sometimes it could be ignorance, or it could be skepticism. Whatever it is a valid reason, because you don't know what you don't know. But the main thing that is kind of stopping us, or the main challenge, is the fact that our mindset is not in the right place. Hear me out. Until I started reading materials about money mindset, I didn't even know that what it had to do with your mindset, because I just made the money, spend the money, made the money, spend it. That's all I knew. My dad never had any money, because he would make the money, he would spend the money. And I just grew up thinking, every time I would say, I'm just like my dad. I used to just say that I'm just like my dad. If I see money in my bank account, I will find ways of spending it. So why is that? And I'm not somebody who is going out for buying expensive things or buying stuff that don't really matter. I just give the money to people. And then so it's as I'm learning these things, it's dawning on me that it's not your fault because that is all you knew how to do. That is how I was conditioned. In order for me to have the blessings, I have to give the money that I make out. Remember, I became a nurse at the age of 21. Obviously, at this age, money should never be an issue for me if I knew what to do with money from the young age. But because of the wrong mindset that we have about money, it doesn't work out. What is the mindset? Number one is money doesn't grow on trees. Money is hard to come by. Do you think we are made with money? There has never been any conversation in my family about money that we talk about it in a nice way or if even smiling. We are always talking about money as this monster. The lack of it has always been. And then even now, when I'm speaking with people back home, and then they are kind of talking about, oh my God, things are so difficult, then I'll ask them, okay, from the time I was home to now, which is better? Then I will count the things or list the things that used not to be available to them. And then they will say, oh no, it is better. But why are we not saying it's better? It's because that's how we are conditioned to just see the negative side of things rather than the positive. The other thing that I got to realize was the fact that how we talk about money in the sense of how we treat people who have money. And that when I discovered that, it was like, wow, I didn't even know that I resented people who had money. Because when we were growing up, if somebody was rich, oh my, like you didn't like a rich person because we thought they were obnoxious, we thought they were thieves, we thought they were doing something dodgy to get the money. And then so I'm reading this book, and this lady has listed, she actually literally wrote a poem and said, and then so I finished reading this poem that says that, when I'm around you, you always want to send me away, and you always say that I'm not nice to you, and then you insult people that I'm close to. How do you want me to come to you? And that was money. I'm like, wow, I never ever thought about money in that sense. So those are the issues that we have as far as, or the challenges we have as far as money is concerned, because the obvious reasons are there, but the no obvious reasons are also there, i.e., in our minds. And it is not our fault. We need to just unlearn to relearn the right stuff.
I like that. We need to unlearn to relearn the right stuff. Um, you said something, the power of language and the language that we speak around, you know, evolving any areas of our lives. So the constant thing of saying, I'm not going to lie, I've been guilty of that. I don't have money. I don't have money. I don't, and words are powerful. Even though sometimes that might seem to be the situation, but if we are not careful, we will stay like that and just never have. Or instead of thinking, okay, maybe this is a temporary situation, at least let me start thinking of other ways of how to overcome this. So if that's one thing that you are guilty of, viewers, always to say, I don't have, you will remain not having. So it's about changing our language, like she said, unlearn to relearn. Change our language. Okay, I look a bit light for now, but let me start thinking about ways, of making this. Thank you very much, Lady B. I was looking at Pastor Joe was saying, yeah, understanding the principles of money, which you just, touched on earlier on before we can teach the children. Lady Martha said we need to teach, so they all agree. I was going to ask, some young people and also parents believe in just going to work. Like you said, that's how most of us have been raised. Now, I'm going to be honest, especially us from Afro Caribbean generations. It's all about you finish school, you go to university, you go and get a degree, you work. It's like that was the only route, when we were growing up. But Thank God that we have, some of us have been privileged to be in other places, and really, that's not the only language. There's so many other languages in terms of being prosperous and having access to money. So now the question is this the only way? Just going to work, is this the only way? I'll let you answer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the question. Obviously, you know that that's not the only way. There's no way that would be the only way. But the question is, are we exploring the other ways? I think that's the question that we should be asking. There's a saying that, okay, this is a story that I heard for one of the online marketers that I follow. His son, because he launched a software in 2015, and as at 2024, the company has become $1 billion company. So his son was asking him, "How come, Dad? How come that you are able to make more money than a doctor, or a surgeon, or a lawyer?" And then so his reply to the question was that the reason why a lawyer or a doctor or any person who sells their time for money cannot make that kind of money is because they are serving one person at a time. And as long as you're selling your time for money, or you're selling your time to one person at a time, you don't have leverage. You can't leverage the power of compounding and increase your ability to make money. And that is why most of us would be skeptical when we hear that someone is making £20,000 a month, 30,000 a month, 50,000 a month. We're like, that's not possible. Yes, to you. My daughter will always say, when you say something is not possible, she say to you. So to you, to us who want to go and sell our time for money, it's not possible, because how much can they pay you an hour? Come on, if you're working for NHS, the maximum the NHS could possibly pay maybe £100 an hour. How many hours are there in a day that can actually make you money? So the area of us, in order for us to get out of this loop, is for us to explore other ways. And when I talk about other ways, the first time I heard this concept was when I discovered Caroline Marsh in my store. Those of you who follow me will know that I found Caroline Marsh, the Secret Millionaire, on TV. And then I decided that, oh, this is a Black woman who has been able to do this. I possibly could do something with my life. So one of the things I learned about her on her website was I discovered this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And it was like a light bulb moment for me all around, because he talked about this concept of selling your time for money. And it's like, okay, so the fact that we will sell our time for money, we are kind of in a rat race, because every day you have to do the same thing and in the same money. But what we should be thinking about doing is that when you are even working and making the money, you have to follow the principles of money, so that you are actually leaving some out there for you to be working for you. Because the issue of money is that, or working for money is that, you are trying to find capital so that you can utilize it to actually dare and then keep growing for you. Unfortunately, because we haven't learned this, we don't know. We just know that you go to work and you make money and you spend. So we are constantly spending this money forever. We are spending. And then so we're not making enough and we're spending. Guess what? That's where most of us are where we are. Over 90% of the population in the world. So if you are listening to me, that is the reality. But the good news is that we can change. The good news is that we can learn new things. The good news is that there is opportunity, like so many opportunities out there for us to be able to at least increase the amount of money we make. But here's the thing, as you are in the journey of increasing the amount of money you make, you are also learning to develop yourself in person. There is a saying that when people become successful, it's said that before you even talk about success, you become successful the minute that you think about something worthwhile doing. So as you are going on the journey, you are learning, you are improving yourself, you are improving your skills. In that journey, you are going to also not only make money, but you're also going to learn how to keep the money. Because until you find out or you learn how to keep it, you can make whatever money, you are not going to be able to keep it. And if you can't keep it, if you can't grow it, if you can't protect it, guess what? You're just like, for example, we see that a lot anyway in footballers, in sports stars, in TV stars. They make the money far more than any of us could ever make, and the money disappears. It is not a curse from your ancestors. It's just a principle you didn't learn. Yeah, so it's a case of us just opening ourselves up to learn about principles of money and also to learn about ways of making more money. Do you I was
I
watching
was
this
watching
guy.
this.
Sorry, let me just finish this point before. I was watching this guy who was deported from from US to Nigeria. He got to Nigeria with $100 in his pocket, decided to go and use the $100 to buy a lemon. I've forgotten the name of the company that is now a $1 million company. But he went on YouTube to learn how to make lemonade from lemon, and he's now got a company. So when people say I don't have money, yeah.
Wow. We say when life gives you lemon, what do you do with it? You make lemonade. You make lemonade out of it. You just took us back to what Lady Joy was saying, the principles. So even as we are talking about these parents, families, even young people, because if you're over 18, you're going to be bumping into this video at some point. We can make as much money as we want, but if we are not disciplined, in terms of spending, how we manage our spending, what we put on each side, it's just going to go just like that. So the discipline that you've talked about is really, really important. So, what do you think are other means of leveraging? I'm going to mention something else after this. Like you said, somebody might just think there are some people as we speak, even though we are saying we know to go to work is not the only way. Surely, because what you are paid at work, it just goes on the bills. Are you still happy? Or you should be thinking, what else can I do that can give me extra income on the side, so that when you want to give to someone, you're not scratching your head, say, or you're not feeling frustrated. I wish I had. We're always regretting. I wish I had. I wish I can. But there are so many ways. It's just our eyes have not been open to it, or our eyes have been open, but we still don't want to take the step. It's not wrong to take a step, but let us know what are other means of leverage. I know that there can be many, but what are some that you can name in terms of finding extra income?
Thank you for that. So, in terms of finding extra income or making money in different ways, okay, our work is one of the areas that we can make money, and obviously, knowing how to budget for yourself would be able to help you. In fact, I read this book on by Lisa Nichols, Abundance Now. She talks about the fact that when her son's father went to prison, and the son was only 19 months old, and she didn't have money to buy diapers, she vowed to herself that this wouldn't be her life. She did not start a business straight away. She started to work and put some money away for 3 years. She said she was increasing her savings and just making sure that she and the son was living on just basic subsistent living, and so that she could accumulate the money. And when the 3 years came in, she went and got the money. She had accumulated over 50K, and that was the money she started to use. And this was a single parent. So, for example, sometimes when we are talking about people, they'll say, oh, because I don't have a husband, or because, oh, you have a husband, and I, like, people, we will always try and find reasons why not. But the saying is that if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. We have to forget arguments and forget reasons, because there will always be reasons why we cannot do what we have to do. So number one is making sure that you are saving with the work that you're doing. Number two is learning basic money principles, i.e., just invest in some of the money. So when you have been able to save it up to some point, you should be able to learn how to invest. Even if you are not going to go into the currency trading world, which is another world of its own, you can't do you can invest in bonds, government bonds, even though it's not going to give you a good yield, but at least it is something that will get the money growing. And this is money that you don't touch until whenever. So just learning and having that discipline to be able to do that is another thing. The third thing I feel is our limitation for us in the diaspora is that we are so in the consumerism space. We just like to consume, we like to show off, we like to show that we are rich. But I know that we are not. Most of us are not rich. We are just like putting the facade on. Why don't we stop it and just kind of be real to ourselves that we need to put the things in place so that it was this guy I was watching. He said, when you're going to buy something, especially something expensive, think, can I afford 10 times it? If you are able to afford, so for example, if you're going to buy a dress for £200, can I afford 10 times that dress? If you can't afford it. And but the other thing is also that, think about it, that dress, how many times are you going to wear it? If you're going to sell it the next day, you're not going to make even £100 for it. And that £200 could have gone somewhere to be able to serve as your future investment, and that will help you to be able to generate passive income that you are not in the future now having to work for money. But they're also learning the skills to do to create other money. For example, having a business. So in terms of business, you need to learn some skills to be able to make that happen. Most of us would rather scroll on social media rather than using the skills for something useful for ourselves. Because if you think about, I mean, the people I coach sometimes is interesting. Basic things we don't know about the internet. Basic things we don't know. Well, we're not learning them. You don't need anybody to teach you those. You can learn them on YouTube. Better still, hire somebody who knows and they will help you and you get set up. Because at the end of the day, until you decide to invest in yourself, guess what? Nothing is going to happen. And as long as you keep having reasons, there will always be reasons why not. And I think the other thing for us, in my opinion, that I have realized for us in the diaspora is that we are living the double lives. So we want to live in England and we want to live in Ghana, for instance, or somewhere in Africa. So you are here in England, you're working to make ends meet, and you are also investing in Africa, which I have done several times and lost so much money. Investing in Africa, we're sending the money to families to be able to do things for us. Number one, they don't also have a clue how to manage money. So we are in this kind of loop. And just the little money that we say is not enough, we are wasting it as well. So in a nutshell, what you do is, number one, ensure that you are saving 10% of your income, whether you have the money or not. That one you have to, because otherwise you're not going to go anywhere. And then invest the money in bonds, because I'm not going to go through the area of trading, but at least government bonds, you know that is stable. It will give you about 3% of your return. And when you do that for a long term, compounding will work in your favor. The third thing is that you have to learn another skills on how to generate more income. And guess what? There are so many platforms that you can learn things that will help you to be able to do that. And for parents with young people, I always say, My Vanessa started doing web design when she was 12. She self-taught. She didn't have to go anywhere to learn it. She taught herself how to design websites, and she was making money for herself. But at least that is her pocket money that I didn't have to give her. And if you do that, it opens their mind to a different world. Like, wow, if I can make money at this age, guess what? When I grow up, I will be making money consistently. And that, to me, is how we should look at it as parents. How this is the way or the pathway that we can get out of this loop of lack and not having, and all the things that we demonize money about.
Wow, you just mentioned the word lack. Ugh, are people lacking? We need to come out from lack. This is 2024, and there are so many things that we can do. Just like Lady Beatrice has just told us, but it's going to start from us. It's going to start with us, families, friends, viewers. It's going to start with us. Now is it now? Now says we will have to embrace money, the money away principle. You've also mentioned another thing. You see, the lifestyle that we present as if we have it, it's not wrong, but if we know that we don't have it all, we say some of the reasons why some of us are having some backlash with loved ones from back home, especially Africa, those of us from Afro-Caribbean background, is because others have gone and presented situations like everybody's lying on gold, and mostly that's not the case. That's not the case. So, what we are saying here today is really to encourage each and every one of us, then we will be able to encourage our children. You also mentioned something about your daughter doing something, and for many people that know me, that's the same way I've been encouraging, my daughter with her baking. And you know what? Out of her baking, she has traveled. I've only like given her like maybe a top up. And another thing is them being financially independent, it's preparing them, and also it saves them from being financially abused or being financially vulnerable. Because why are most of our young people in problems? It's because somebody else has promised them money out there. You can come and be doing some things that you are not supposed to be doing for money. So parents, let's be a bit more proactive. Thank you. And Lady Oba said you have great insights. Lady Beatrice, you should be a mentor's mentor. So she has great respect for you. Yes, Lady Joyce says thank you very much. Now you were almost heading to where I am heading to now. um this thing called social media. Thank you, Lady Grace. This thing called social media. We know how our children, they are on it. There is no lie. Some of them, they even lie their age just to be on it. They go and register. They're on Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. They are there, YouTube, enjoying videos. They will be laughing. They are on it for hours. And I believe that that's something our children can, at least for a start. You just use your daughter as an example, how she identified her love and her passion for the web design. And our children, they are so technologically smart. A lot of us as parents, we've relied on our children to help us. I'm not going to lie, I used to rely on them a lot. Now my son smiles when he sees that I have learned, because I made the effort to learn. You spoke about learning self, let's self teach ourselves, you know. So, but they are very good. I just wanted to find out, because of the amount of time that they spend, how can we encourage them to leverage themselves on social media? Because social media is a powerful tool. Oh, it can make or break, but we are encouraging that not only ourselves as adults, but our children can use this tool to make it. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Flores. You know that if we are going to talk about social media, I can be here all night, but I'll try as much as I can to summarize what this means in terms of if you are a parent. Parents, children were born into this era. So whether we agree with it or not, This is their time. We cannot reverse the time. We cannot continue to say that, oh, I don't want my child online because of XYZ. All the children need is empowerment and the ability to be able to do things in the right way. Statistics shows that 12 to 17-year-old, over 90% of them hold phones in the Western world. 90%. Who is buying them the phones? It's parents. What are we buying them the phones for? For them to be online. Because to be honest, when was the last time your child called you on their phone? Honestly, when? They don't call. They rather text. And if it's texting, they don't need a smartphone to text you. Reason why we buy them the phone, because it's the latest thing and we want our children to belong. What does that lead us to? They get the phone, they're on it. It's affecting sometimes their ability to concentrate. It's affecting their ability to have a meaningful conversation with people. It's affecting their ability to socialize. And it's affecting, in some cases, their ability academic performance as well. But if we can turn this around and actually think about using their gadgets differently, it is a powerful tool, because just with a phone alone, they can go on YouTube instead of watching TikTok and dances and all those kind of things. They can learn a skill. Web design, your child can learn web design. My child did it at 12. Social media influence, Blessing did it. She was 16 when she started growing her Instagram account to over 20,000 followers. My son, the younger one, his TikTok followers is over 2,000, uh, with the hobby that he enjoys, videoing sports cars. So, what are they doing? What are we doing with our children? We want them to build these things. And let me say that I haven't said it publicly yet, but now that we're on this platform, my second daughter has just had a scholarship, apprenticeship, has been awarded apprenticeship with a tech company, a university apprenticeship. How did she get there? Over 200 applicants plus people who were age 20, she said, some of them up to 27-year-old. She's 18. She was able to compete with them to win. Why? Because she's had all these, what Donia would call gems. She has been preparing herself since she was 12. I think she was 11 actually. Preparing herself, doing all these things, using that same online space that we parents are worried for our children about. Why are we worried about them being online? Because we don't know what is online. And then we say that when you post your child's photo online, the demons will pick it, and then it, like, if you hear some of these stories, it's ridiculous. There's no demon online that's going to pick anything, except you get online and learn basic things for yourself. And when you learn, you'll be able to guide your child. And when you guide them, you are building them for the future. When you build them, they are able to use that same digital media to make money. Their life is going to be so much easier. And guess what? Our children's lives are easier as parents. Oh my God. You are just happy, whether you have money or not. When your child is happy and you know that your child is financially free, I mean, long time I've been saying it. Just knowing that if for anything I sleep and I don't wake up tonight, I know that my children will survive financially. That alone is priceless for any parent. And I just believe that we need to take away this issue of fear, because most of us are just petrified of social media. And it's surprising, it's not just one person, it's surprising even people that sometimes I look at them and I think, surely you shouldn't be afraid of social media. But they are. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing. They're afraid of people commenting on their posts, and they're afraid of things like that. Who cares? If somebody says wrong, if you say wrong thing, the platform is for everyone. It is a learning curve, and you've got to learn. And if you don't make mistakes, you will never learn. So let's release our children to use the power of the digital media to save themselves, because when they go to university and come out, they're still going to look for work. Trust me.
Wow. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Lady Jane. She was just echoing what you were saying there, building legacy. I made this statement to my children once, say, I might have insurance, but please, nobody should depend on my insurance. You are going to start putting your insurance, even if it's £5, because they go out with their friends, they go to the restaurant, and easily young people can use 40, £50 without shaking. So parents, what we are talking about here today, it's so important. And don't worry about your child's safety, because they can do things online. If they don't want to put their photographs, like Lady B, I've gone on your daughter's Instagram, and some of the things I saw her doing was going to shopping malls, buying products and reviewing the products. Most of them did not have a face on it, so you can still work from behind the scenes until your child is confident enough. Some of the fear we are talking about here is bullying. Say they will bully my child, they will listen. There are some things that will never eradicate, but we can manage it. That is why if we know the tools to use, we can guide our young people online. In fact, they even know better than us, which is why we need to know, so that we are not panicking, all over the place. So please let us empower. Thank you. Lady Jane says she had a very intimidating email from a Facebook user that left her terrified, and she took a break. I've experienced that, but sadly it means that her engagement dropped. Yeah. For those of us here, yeah, I know some of us here are in ministry. I remember years ago, Lady B, I was evangelizing on the high street in East London, and a gentleman walked towards me and tell me, "What are you doing here? You're a woman. You need to keep quiet. You're not supposed to be out." I'm not even lying. That thing stressed me. It broke my confidence. This was like maybe 10, 11 years ago. So some people, we will be attacked in whatever we do. We will be attacked. We need to find a way of overcoming. Block the block button. Block. They've created these things because they know that people will come to intimidate us. Hackers will come. This will come, and they will tell you block them, or any other profiles they go and open. So you've blocked them automatically. So these are some of the things we need to empower ourselves. With. Lady B, I know that you have a book coming up. You have a book coming up, and that book is loaded. Viewers, parents, let's not sometimes spend our money on food, on things to wear. We need books, not because I started writing, talking about having an extra income. I'm not going to lie. When you are sleeping, it does not matter even if it's 1p that you're making every day or every week, it's going to build up into something. When I started, it really relieved me just of what I get in my salary. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. It might not be much, but every little helps. I believe the Tesco adage. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So I'm encouraging us. This book will be coming out soon. Lady B, tell us about the book, and we will also tell viewers also how to get in touch with you. Over to you, because that book is loaded about everything that we are. In fact, we've never even scratched the surface safe. So you're going to get the book.
Yes. So I have been talking about making money predominantly. So, in terms of a business coaching and everything, I've always been talking about how we can make more money. But as the years go by, I've realized that we need to think about it in a different way. Like, yes, you can make money, but if you think about people like Evander Holyfield, who was one of the famous boxers in the world, guess what happened to him? All his money went under. If you think about, I mean, most of the people, Michael Jackson, for example, when he bought the Neverland Ranch, it was a lot of money he made. Where is it? Where's the money? It's all gone. It's all because we haven't, number one, understood money. We don't know the psychology of money. We don't understand they have the mindset about money. If you think about money, for example, what is it? It's about us. It's not just the money that we want, it's what it gives us, the pleasure that it gives us, the ability for me to be able to fly wherever I like, or go on holiday, or buy that beautiful house, buy that beautiful car. It's the things that the money will give us and the emotions that the money will give us. That is the reason why we look for money. Until we understand that and get our children on board, we are going to be playing this losing game. And for me, I think it's about time that I bring that to bear. And most importantly, for my fellow women to understand that no matter how hard you go to work, how much money can you make to be able for you to become financially free? Number two is that however hard you work as a parent, your children's lack of understanding of this concept will always come back to you. Always. Because I see parents go on retirement and then you now have to babysit for your children, your grandchildren, for your children to go to work. I think for some number of years now, I have been thinking about this concept and thinking, surely that's not right for us. That you work your butts off. Every day you are going to work, you are looking after children, you are running here, you are tidying the house, you are cooking, you're doing, and then when it's time for you to slow down, because I think that's the illusion that we have, that you will work until retirement, you rest. Guess what? There's no rest for you if you don't build certain blocks in place. Because as far as a mother is always a mother, your children struggling with their own children, you will jump in whether they invite you or not. But guess what my mission is? Honestly, the only time I will have my grandchildren is when I'm taking them out for a treat, when I'm taking them out for a holiday, when I'm taking them out for us to have fun, real fun. And sometimes I dream of these things and I'm just smiling to myself. Why? Because I want, by God's grace, to build my children in a sense, to a level that by the time in their 20s, they are already financially independent. And I'm not even joking. I have seen young people do it. There's a lady called Alina Moss. She's Vanessa's age. She's running a $60 million company at age 18. She was 7 when she pestered her dad to start a lollipop business. Not any other thing, lollipop. You understand? So I have been digging into these things, and I know that it's possible for us as parents to be able to get our children to that level, because we need to rest, we need to enjoy life. Life is for enjoyment. Honestly, we should not continuously stress. And until you get onto that point of helping your children build themselves, even if you yourself make the money, it will finish, because your children will come for it over and over and over again when they're adults, because they have mismanaged their money. So in terms of the book is just for parents to actually understand the concept of money and how we can teach our children, and then how we can also maximize the use of the web space to create more money, and so that our life will be perfect as God wants us to be. Because guess what? We are God's beautiful children, and He doesn't want us to continue to lack.
Absolutely, I like that part. You just took it out of my mouth. He wants us, our Father wants us to prosper. And again, he says he will bless the works of our hands. But if we are not doing anything with our hands, are we expecting, yeah, there miracles do happen, but God said, do something. So to begin to work is something, but let's not forget He's blessed us also with gifts. And we need to nurture our own gifts and also help our children to start identifying and nurturing their gift. What is your child good at? Maybe your child is good at speaking. When they are talking at all, you are stopping them. Keep quiet. You, as a parent, you're killing their dream. Keep quiet. Maybe they are drawing. They are going to become artists. Let's start discovering them. And, it doesn't have to be any big, massive thing. Maybe they are good at playing football. Whatever it is, let us encourage them to nurture. Let there be a balance. We are not saying let them not be on there, but whilst they are enjoying others, they can start theirs. So the time is not enough to talk about all of this. I believe we will come back again, but please be ready. Lady Beatrice's book is coming out, Winning the Money Game. Yeah, I've been privy to some of the information, and it is loaded. It is loaded. Every chapter is loaded. Have you got a date yet for the book launch, or we will have to come and advertise? Just let members know about the book launch.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Originally, if you are going to write a book, you should know that it's a process and you have to contact Pastor Joy as soon as possible. Because
Pastor Joy is here. She can hear us.
oh my God. So, and the reason why I'm saying this, sometimes we think that proximity, because of proximity, you know what you're doing. I overwrote the number of whatever was required, and then so we have to revisit. So for that reason, the publishing of the launching of the book is now end of April. I will communicate the date later, but then I just want to also use this opportunity to kind of prepare people because it's like 2 months out there to prepare people, prepare parents to understand this concept even before they get the book in their hand. Because I believe firmly that we can do it. I have seen so many parents do it. I have like countless of parents because those are the type of people I follow online. And so I know that it is possible. I know that with our help, our children can do amazing things. With an open mind, we ourselves as parents can do so many things. But as long as we continue to live in fear and continuously proclaim lack, that is going to be our portion. And I pray that that's not our portion, but we need to change our language to evoke the blessings that God has bestowed on us, upon us. And the way we can do it is when we start to expose ourselves to certain materials, because obviously I didn't know. Look, if you think about when I came to the UK, the money I have made, goodness me, I was operating a limited liability company as a nurse. It wasn't small money. I made so much. Ask me where the money is. I don't know. So, so we need to know that when we make the money, what can we do with it? And most importantly, how can we support our children? Because if we do it alone, it is good, but that's halfway. We need to have an open mind, i.e., thinking about the internet in a different way. What I always say is, if you think about the people who, majority of us in the West, when was the last time you actually went into a shop and bought something? Most of us will not remember. How are we buying things? We're buying them online. Who are we paying the money to? You're not paying it to Amazon. When you buy the thing, it's not Amazon. Amazon is not, it's a business owner you're paying the money to. And guess what? Why can we not believe that someone would also pay us online? It's a belief issue. And I pray that by God's grace, when you get this book in your hand, you will understand some of these concepts. And you know what? Ditch your fears, ditch your anxieties, and just go for it, whatever it is that your heart desire. And I believe that as far as financial freedom is concerned, we need to pursue it with all our hearts and all our minds. Because if you're not financially free, the stress is just too much. We cannot continue to be stressing like that and spilling it over and over and over and just wishing that our children would go to school, be a doctor, be a lawyer. Yes, those are good. But it's the same loop that they are going to find themselves, the same rat race. So we need to find a way of, stepping back, reviewing things, and finding ways of supporting ourselves, becoming financially independent as a family, and that will spill onto our children. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Lady Beatrice. I just cannot thank you enough. Viewers and everyone who has joined us, please share this video so that other people can watch it. This is for all of us, including me, because I am not there yet. We are all learning. We are all learning. So thank you very much, Lady B. I was just putting up your details up there. If anyone wants to contact Lady B, she's a coach. If you would like to be coached, or maybe you've started seeing the tendencies in your child and you want to help them, Lady B can help you. She's a living testament. Go and check her out. She and her family are out there. The girls are doing fantastically well by God's grace. So we are not talking about a dummy here. This is real life story. Like I said, I've used my own little self as an example. You all see me out there as a mama supporting my daughter with her baking. What is your own child doing? Come and let's start supporting and share what they are doing. We can all do this. So if you would like to contact her for your events, even for her to come and speak, to your women or to your young people, contact her. All her details are on there. You can take a snapshot of the detail, look for her on Facebook, look for her also on Instagram, and contact her. This has been great, and hopefully when the time comes for the book launch, we will inform about the book launch, and just so that everybody can use the opportunity to get a copy. Like she said, she overwrote the book. Every chapter, you will need every chapter. I'm not even going to exaggerate that one. You need every chapter. That's just the truth about it. Lady Beatrice, thank you very much for spending time with us at this time. We pray that your voice will go far. Many will be able to hear, and we'll have lots of testimonies about this, just all changing, the way we support our children. Thank you so much. I was just reading the comment. Lady Jane was thanking you, and encouraging also. She was just agreeing that financial freedom is very important. She said they were just having the discussion with their women's group, and they are redoing the same thing again, about what's your legacy, and Nawun Tami said, Beatrice, I think parents would love to parents will have to be devoted in supervising. I think that's one of the challenges. Parents think they don't have the time, but even if it's when you're relaxing in the sitting room on the sofa, the child is with you, see them on their device. We are supposed to be monitoring our children anyway. So that's the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice we have to make to help them, because one day we are going to be part of the benefactors as well. When our children are successful, they will not be children who will abandon us. As Joyce said, side income, legacy, and becoming an author. Like I said, I've used my own example, how becoming an author really helped me. How Being on social media, I started just by coming and singing, doing my worship sessions, and it has just that's what has led me to here now. That's what has led me to here now. This was 8 or 10 years ago. Then we were being criticized for being on social media. But a lot of doors that have been opened for me is as a result of my presence on here. And all of us, almost all of us as adults, we have our platforms. So do something profitable, do something productive, and let that be a living example for our children. Lady Beatrice, thank you so much. What's the last word you want to leave with us tonight?
For the opportunity to speak to into the lives of people. Thank you for Pastor Joy, Pastor OBA, Sister Jane, and all the rest who have been here and commenting on the conversation that we've had. I just want to say that if you're a parent, this notion of living in the Western world and for that reason my children are sorted, it's not true. It's not true. It's a myth that we need to debunk. That if you are in the West, your children are not sorted because they can go to school, they can go to the best universities, they will still need jobs, they will still need stability, they will still be in the rat race. And then you, as the parent, you are drafted in because you feel obliged to. So why don't we teach them as they're young? Just teach them the damn thing because at the end of the day, it's the money that we are working for. I'm not saying that we shouldn't take our children to university, but think about it. Think about it critically. They can go to university, they can make their own money that would even pay for their university fees. And that is a fact. So please, let's not be shying away from money anymore. Because for me, I just believe that I'm tired of this heavy conversation. It shouldn't be heavy. It should be because that's just our lives. We need to number one, demystify the bank, the aspect of once I am in the West, my life is sorted, my child life is sorted. I have seen that that hasn't been my case until you do something different. And number two, thinking that your child, your child would automatically be financially successful. It's not the case because they, even if they're earning 100,000. In fact, I have sat with somebody between husband and wife. They were receiving 140,000 a year, and they were in debt to their neck when I did financial education. So I know that that's the reality. Because if you don't know what you don't know, things aren't going to be better. And I just hope and pray that any parent listening to this will rise up. Because one of the ladies that I sent the manuscript to read said, I've actually reignited her desire to relaunch her business. And I've said, you have made my day. So if it just ignited the desire for you to sit down with your children, even if it's 2 times or 3 times a week, to just talk about the future, because that's how you start the conversation, not even necessarily money. Talk about the future and ideas will flow from there. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lady Jane. Viewers, thank you, Lady Beatrice. As you can see, if we stay on here, we will stay here much, much more longer than we anticipated because money, we need it. We need it. But may the Lord help us to find the right pastures to create that income. And to be honest, He has opened doors. We just need to see. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you, everyone who has been with us today. We really, really appreciate you. Follow my page on Facebook, Practical Talk, and also on YouTube. Please follow. But this show, share it tonight, and so that many can just be encouraged by it. I'm sure most of what we've been talking about today already, some people are being reignited, some people are being restored, maybe they've lost their confidence. It's never too late. There is always the place of starting again. So thank you all very, very much for spending time with us. We say you have a very, very blessed week, and we want to say goodbye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.